Harry and Meghan Markle, why they are cosplay royals. They are trying to be royal while no longer technically being royal. This was on full display this week for Veterans Day, the upcoming Veterans Day. The couple went down to San Diego, apparently to Camp Pendleton, where they met with some military families, and then they went to an opening of some sort of state-of-the-art gym for our veterans, especially for Navy SEALs, and their base is in Pendleton. And they were at this ribbon cutting, and they were acting like royals. And I, quite frankly, am sick of it. Harry and Meghan need to get a real job. Being royal is no longer their job, so they need to get something else. And them cosplaying as royals, I think, is incredibly grating because we are the United States of America. We fought a war over 200 years ago, so we don't have to deal with royal people thinking they're royal on our soil. That's the whole thing. We have a Prince of Denmark living here, a Princess of Sweden living here. We have the Crown Prince and Princess of Greece. They have homes here. We have had a lot of royals live here in the United States, and I think that is perfectly fine. But what they don't do is act like they are the royals of the United States. Yet that is continually what Harry and Meghan are doing, and I am sick and tired of my military humoring them. They are jobless, pointless. Why in the world are you humoring them when they really have nothing to contribute? I find it incredibly grating and annoying. And I'm going to talk about this today because I think it's incredibly important. I love royals. I live here in this country. I love royals. I love going over to Europe and seeing royals. I don't want them living here thinking they are the royals of the United States. Self-imposed royals of the United States, by the way. They need to do something else. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of Harry and Meghan using and abusing our military for their own PR purposes. But we are going to talk about this today. Although I don't know if it's going to be as much a talk as a rant. It's one of those things that frustrates me immensely because Harry and Meghan could do the things they're doing in the UK perfectly well, perfectly fine. That's where they should be. They shouldn't be here trying to be cosplay royalty because they left the royal fold and that had consequences, and that doesn't mean they get to transplant what they were doing there here when it suits their whims. That is definitely what it does not mean. So we are going to, again, talk about this today. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network, my name is Brittany. I provide you all compelling royal commentary about the latest news, sometimes the drama going on behind the scenes. I also have a newsletter, a fashion channel, and I have a membership. So if you want some behind the scenes things, we shall do that. And obviously as well today, I am wearing my poppy because it is Remembrance Sunday coming up here. And this poppy is actually kind of special. I got it in Guyana, and that was actually a British Commonwealth country. And so when I was there in November, and I happened to see one of the staff members wearing the poppy, and I asked them about it and asked them if they had one I could have. And it was so sweet. The hotel employee took hers off and gave it to me. So I still have it. Actually is on my pin board. I have a pin board downstairs that has pins from like all over the world, all different countries I've been to. And so this usually sits on there, but since I wanted to wear this sweater and I felt the camel and the poppy, it all went together really well. And I wanted to talk about Harry and Meghan. So I thought this was just fitting, and I will be 100% here. I'm not trying to be royalty. I just think this is fun. I don't have ever a chance to wear it. So I thought, you know what? We'll give it today. And I do actually have a whole video talking about the meaning of the poppy. So if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and link it up above, and I'll link it, try to remember to link it down below too. So if you're interested in learning more about why the royals wear poppy this time of year, basically just the British royals, you'll see it even on the newscasters, just everyone wearing poppies. There is a reason for that, and I did a whole video on it last year. So if you want to check that out, I will link that for you. So how did it start? So it started apparently Harry and Meghan went down to San Diego, and Meghan wore a cardigan, a Carolina Herrera cardigan, which is very, very pricey because apparently we've left the affordable now and are back into the luxury. When they were at the Invictus Games, Meghan Markle tried to dip her toes into a more affordable brand market. I mean, she wore Zara, and this is a woman who had a sayonara Zara party. And so apparently she is now, you know, the the terribleness of Zara and all those stuff. I mean, it irritated her skin. So now we have to go back to Carolina Herrera and Giorgio Armani for our outfits. So she is wearing this poppy cardigan, and apparently her and Harry are meeting with some military families, and they had to share this on their website and with People magazine. Now granted, People magazine probably tracks what Harry and Meghan are doing, but if Harry and Meghan, if all they really care about is service, why do you have to publicize it? Why do you have to publicize it? Because you don't need to do that. You should just do it without seeking the publicity that's attached to it. Because what you see through their seeking of publicity is that it becomes so apparent they're trying to reenact the royal model. But that doesn't work in this situation. The reason why royals do promote the charitable work they do is because that is part of their job. That's how they justify essentially their paycheck to the British people. They have to show themselves working. They have to show themselves doing these charitable events. Yes, they do certain things privately, but they also do a lot publicly. And the reason for that is that, like Queen Elizabeth said, I need to be seen to be believed. But when Harry and Meghan left the royal fold, that no longer applied. That no longer applied because they are no longer supposed to be doing royal works. Harry and Meghan went on a Finding Freedom tour, and guess what? They found it. But apparently they still are desperately clinging to the past. And I think definitely Harry is, and Meghan sees the benefit of it because they've had a bit of a, you could say, rough summer. They got dropped by Spotify. They got made fun of recently by Family Guy. They had that disastrous fake paparazzi chase in Manhattan. They basically had a series of just disastrous PR events throughout the summer. And as things are heating back up in, I think, preparation for the holiday season, Harry and Meghan, I guess, are trying to right the ship. And a Carolina Herrera cardigan that costs like $2,000 is the way to go about it. And so they met with these families. It was part of Operation Biggs, a first of its kind mentoring program for children of military families, including active duty, veteran, and Gold Star families. Mentors and mentees apparently shared how mentorship is supporting their goals and ambitions, as well as the benefits of the community they have built through Operation Biggs. And so there are a series of pictures by Matt Sales about Harry and Meghan meeting there. And I want to point out here a couple of things. Both of these articles say on Harry and Meghan's Archewell page, uplifting our military families, caring for our military veterans in their second event. Harry and Meghan, they're not yours because they are meeting with U.S. service members wearing a poppy, which is clearly a British thing. So they're trying to portray themselves as helping, that there are military, while technically also representing another military. That's not how this works. I don't care about the Invictus Games and how great you think it is, Harry. And I think it is great in a lot of ways. You don't represent the United States of America or our military service members. You don't. Stop pretending like you are. It's annoying. And I just don't understand why our military apparatus continues to humor this guy that has no job and his wife who has no job. Like, I don't understand it. I thought we fought a whole war about this. And not only that, we won. So we don't have to deal with this. We don't have to deal with this. But somehow, some way, we're dealing with it. And they're on a military base. Military bases are oftentimes hard to get on. You have to have a connection or you have to be going to an event, something. They just don't let people willy-nilly on military bases, especially Camp Pendleton. So it's like, why are they going there? I don't understand. I don't understand. And when you look through these series of pictures, I mean, obviously Harry features in some, but also too, it always seems to be explicitly focusing on Meghan, because this is, at the end of the day, all about really promoting Meghan Markle. And so she has to be there. And of course, they had to get People magazine involved, and People magazine have to share things from their interviews because they were on another military base in 2020, 2021, with people who had been escaping Afghanistan and went to this classroom with the Afghan children. I'm like, why? Why? What are you doing, US military? I don't understand. These two people are using you for their own publicity or for their own reality TV show. Why are you humoring these people? I don't understand. This guy spent all of his time in the military pretty much playing video games in a bunker. So he didn't do that much on the front line. There was even a report from somebody who said they were made to sign NDAs, basically saying that Harry basically spent his whole time on base and never left. And he did some things for like publicity and that was it. And I somewhat believe some of that, because the thing is, Harry was not good enough to be actually a pilot of a helicopter. He wasn't. His brother was, but he wasn't. How do we know? Because we've never seen Harry ever fly a helicopter since he was in the military or out of the military. Whereas we see William pretty consistently still getting back into the cockpit of a helicopter. He really enjoyed it. He did obviously the air ambulance thing. And he still flies his family sometimes to different engagements. Like when Catherine and Charlotte and William went to a sporting event with, I think it's Sports Aid, William was actually the one who flew the helicopter. Obviously he had a co-pilot, but he flew the helicopter because he knows what he's doing. Harry has never flown a helicopter. He was supposedly a gunner, but how often did they really have him go out is a huge, huge question. And I just still tend to believe, especially when Harry even acknowledged that the only time it became apparent to him that combat is hard and that people die is on the plane ride home. That's when it suddenly dawned on him the cost of war. If it suddenly dawns on you the cost of war on the plane home, you never experienced any war while you were there. You never did, because it should have been apparent to you, because I'm sure for some people it was apparent to them on day one, the cost of combat. But for you, it wasn't until you were on the plane home, because you were coddled. You were coddled like a child, but yet you still somehow think you know enough to say about these things. Very grating. But then it got worse. So they were still in California, and so they went to the Navy SEAL Foundation's Warrior Fitness Program West Coast facility opening. It is apparently a state-of-the-art complex, and they met with service members benefiting from the program and officially opened the facility alongside 250 supporters and participants. Again, I find this deeply offensive. They shouldn't be there. Why even the Navy SEALs are like, yeah, come on by. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And the thing is, when the guy introduced them, he called them the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan. Again, I believe my ancestors, who I did have some ancestors who actually fought in the Revolutionary War, contributed to it in different ways. I think they would be rolling over in their graves if they knew that now, all of a sudden, even though they fought against the British monarchy and empire, somehow the British monarchy and empire still happened to infect our country. I don't think they would be very happy, because I'm not very happy. I don't like that. I want our veterans to succeed. I want them to get everything in the world, but I don't think they need to attach themselves to a toxic brand like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Nobody went to the Invictus Games. It seemed to be entirely filled with family members and friends, which is fantastic, but the event isn't selling. And I think part of it is because people don't want to support Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They are a toxic brand. Why would you, as the military apparatus of the United States, one of the most powerful entities in the entire world, decide, you know what, we're going to hitch our ride to? We're going to hitch our ride to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I mean, because they are the ticket. They are going to the top. And it's like, he's the spare, and he left the royal family, supposedly because they didn't like his wife. It's pretty much their sole reason. I mean, they pretty much admitted that. They didn't like his wife, and they told him that to his face, and he wanted to pout about it. So he came over here, and now he's trying to reenact what him and Meghan originally wanted in their Mexican declaration, which is that they wanted to be part-time working royals in and out when it suited them. And the monarchy's like, no, we can't do that. And Harry and Meghan are like, well, okay, we'll just leave then. The monarchy's like, well, don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. But they now have transplanted some of those same tactics and are attempting to do similar things here in the States. And it's something that Charles needs to address, because they should not be going to events proclaiming themselves as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They need to be Harry and Meghan. If you can't be Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle, you two have problems, because that's who you are. You are not Prince Harry and the Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, and you shouldn't be having our military referring to you as Harry and Meghan the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That shouldn't be what is happening. But somehow, for some reason, our military is doing that. And they also humored Harry at Pearl Harbor. They invited him to Pearl Harbor, showed him around, gave him a diplomat's reception. I'm like, but he's not a diplomat. He is a countryless royal who's floundering, who has no clue what he's doing. He's a ceremonial role with the Invictus Games, and that's it. The guy doesn't have much else going for him, to be honest. Neither does Meghan Markle at this point. I think the last gasp of a money-making opportunity will be Meghan's memoir, and that's it. And after that, I think they're done. I mean, what else do they have? They haven't showed us any discernible talent, any discernible interest, other than doing the thing they said they hated doing. But Meghan Markle didn't hate royalty because she had to do work. She hated it because she didn't get paid for it in her mind. So depending on how big the crowd size was, she thought she should get paid per head. And the royals like, yeah, that's not how this works. And they were supposed to get, I think, at least 700,000 pounds a year. And that was too little for them. So they wanted to make more money because this is all a money-making enterprise. They don't do these things out of the goodness of their heart. They do it for a paycheck. They do it for PR. They do it for self-interest. And the royals don't, because even if Catherine and William do an event, an engagement, they are not ever asking for money for themselves. They're saying, hey, if you want to support our foundation or support this other cause, because we don't have a bottom line here. We are not saying that you must do this in order to see us. In fact, although I haven't heard much about it yet, again, but maybe it's going on more behind the scenes, because Catherine and William thought of this new way of doing engagements where they would go to a place and they'd raise money at the same time they're there so that they help the community. They'd raise money before and after and those sorts of things. I haven't really heard much about that since then. But I think that was a really, really interesting idea. And Harry and Meghan you have here are diluting the brand of the monarchy by trying to replicate it here in the States, but without the proper authority and the things necessary to actually make it what it's supposed to be. And again, that is just incredibly irritating as an American. And when it came to their official sort of opening of this, they came out with a group, and Meghan throughout the whole thing pretty much was pleased as punch. There were people there clapping for her, and she's so happy. She's so happy people are there to pay attention to her because she desperately needs this. Again, she liked the attention that royalty gave her, but she didn't want to actually work if it didn't benefit her in some way. And when you watch the first part of this video, it's very apparent how uncomfortable Harry is. Harry looks uncomfortable because this is a farce. This is ridiculous. And I think, and maybe in some points in the back of Harry's mind, he does know this, but at this point, this is the life that Meghan Markle has set out for them, and by golly, he has to do it. And Meghan Markle, of course, Harry's talking to this guy, and Meghan Markle has to go over and tap him going, come on, come over here. And it's like, but he's talking to a guy. He's talking to one of the head people, and she's got to tap him and move him, of course, because heaven forbid this guy does something she doesn't approve of. And so Meghan Markle, of course, stands very close to the speaker, and she stands as close to the red ribbon as she possibly can. And this is because she wants to get in the shot. Harry's behind her to such an extent that looks like he's not even there and hiding behind her. It's bizarre to see. And in this one angle, you can totally tell he is completely and utterly, his head is completely and utterly behind hers, but of course she has the perfect camera angle because again, it's all about Meghan. And again, I just gotta say, I feel like Harry looks utterly uncomfortable here. He knows this is a farce. He has to know that, doesn't he? Do you think he knows that? I don't know. And she has to go, not at them, not at the people who are opening it. It's just, again, she's so on. You could say that it's just a performance for her. This is just part of the performance. And it gets worse. So they are introduced as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Prince Harry and Meghan smiles proudly and goes, thank you. And Harry, that whole time, he doesn't crack a smile at all. Let me just look again. But yeah, he does not crack a smile. He doesn't crack a smile in the slightest when they introduce them as a couple.
Special guests, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan. So thank you very much for joining us this evening.
I mean, that's screams something. And he's looking down as they're clapping for him. Like, you can feel that this guy feels like he knows he doesn't deserve this. He knows this is just not totally what he wants. And yet he's doing it because he has to humor his wife. He has to make her happy. Otherwise, she really isn't happy. And she has to say congratulations, leaning in to him, not the woman opening the center, but to him, and make sure it gets picked up on the mic when she says congratulations. I mean, that was so deliberate.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We're very proud of it.
And then you see Meghan going, good night, everyone. Are they coming in? Because, you know, she needs attention. She desperately needs the attention. It is really, really wild to see.
Good night, everyone. Are they coming in? No. Okay, great.
She's just so consumed with herself. It's so utterly apparent how excited she is to have a captivated audience for a little bit. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing on behalf of the military. It's just embarrassing to me as an American that this couple who has done absolutely nothing to achieve their positions are exploiting it at the expense of our military personnel. I just find that abhorrent. I am just deeply disappointed in our military for humoring the two of them. I just think it's ridiculous. And Harry and Meghan need to stop cosplaying royalty. You guys left and they decided they didn't need you. But you've decided that America needs you. So you are going to shove yourself in wherever you can to try to get that little accolade of attention. But it needs to stop. It needs to end. You are not the Duke and Duchess of the United States. You should not even be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex anymore. You left the royal fold. Get a real job. Either that's producing, podcast producing, whatever. You guys need to actually get a job. Their foundation is not a job. Their foundation, I think, is a way for them to tax shelter some of their money. That's pretty much what it is. It doesn't do that much. It seems to expect a lot of respect, and I don't think they deserve it. And really, if they want their foundation to be wildly successful, then they need to make millions and millions of dollars to do that. But I don't think they can do it because they're too busy trying to emulate what they had before rather than creating something new. And I am all for innovation. I'm all for change. I'm all for seeing things evolve and grow. And Harry and Meghan could have had a fantastic post-royal career if they decided to leave royalty behind. But they haven't. They can't do it. And because of that, they constantly try to emulate what they've seen before, emulate what they could do before. And sometimes it just comes across as rather abhorrent of them because I don't want to see Harry and Meghan once again traipse along the corpses of our dead soldiers in order to get a photo op. That just is so incredibly tacky, but that is Harry and Meghan. They don't care about anything other than themselves, and they can't support the military without their titles attached. So guys, let me know what you think of this video and my little rant. I would love to get your thoughts. Thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.